Hi, today we're going to go over the creation of just-in-time policies as well as how to use them across the different platforms. So if we go over to just-in-time accounts over here, this is where you can enable and disable just-in-time access and where you can create new policies. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of example policies already built out, but you have a couple of different options here. So at the top, you have the ability to add an onmicrosoft.com domain for all of your 365 just-in-time accounts if you want to. That'll basically override the custom domain already there. So what you're going to do is on the right, when you're ready to build out a policy, is click New Policy, select what type of policy you're going to create. So for example, if I want to make an Active Directory policy, I come over here, name it. You also have the option to create a burner mode for this, which will basically delete after expiration. Then you choose who's going to be able to access that policy. So if you leave it restricted to primary and super roles, obviously they're the only ones who can access it. Otherwise, you can add groups. So from here, if I wanted, for example, help desk and our just-in-time users, I could select that. Then you can also point it at specific customers as well if you want to. So for example, we could select those two right there. Set the duration for how long it can be active for. Select what type of security you want it to have. So for example, if we just want this to make the domain, enterprise, and let's say DNS admins here, you can also use custom security groups at the bottom here just by clicking this and then typing the group name. Once you've finished making all the selections in here, you just click save in the top right, and that will save it. Basically the same thing for 365 as well as local. Once you've then created your policies, there's a couple of different ways you can go to access them. So the first way to do this is to actually hop into a customer, go into just-in-time accounts down here, and you can see any current accounts for just-in-time. You can also activate a new account up here. So for example, if I want to go to 365, I can select that, choose what level of access that I want, how long I want to access for, and the reason that I'm going to be accessing this just-in-time account. So that's one way to do it. So the faster way to do it is we now have a Chromium extension up here that once you're signed into, basically allows you to, once again, access these accounts. So for example, in here, I can go to, say, new, select a new policy, choose what type of directory I want to do. For local, you select a specific computer. If you're just doing, say 365, you can then select what type of privilege that you want based off of the policies that you've already built out. This is an easy way to follow least privilege. Choose how long you want it active for. These options will be determined by the policy that you selected, and then, enter your reason. All you have to do then is click activate. Now, since I already have one activated for this, I would have to come to the existing account, click activate here. Same thing, I have those same options, enter that, and then click activate. So this is going to be the main way to access 365. Once you've activated it, you'll see you'll have all of this information in here, and then you can click launch. And this will allow you to launch into a specific section of 365. So for example, if we want to go into Entra ID, we then click this. And as you can see, this will autofill username, password, and OTP if you have it set up through our system. You can still set it up through the standard Microsoft Authenticator or another authenticator of your choice. And then you can also see that this, by default, launches you into an incognito window so that when you're done using it, all you have to do is close that and then you can allow it to disable. Now, one thing just to note here is that that option is not enabled by default. What you have to do is basically go into here, manage the extension, and make sure you enable allow in incognito or allow in private if you're using Edge. So the other way to activate a just-in-time account for AD and local systems is our passwordless option. Now you could just come into here and activate the account and copy the username and password over, but if you have passwordless enabled, which is the option at the very bottom of here, right here, you can just enable that. So for passwordless, what you're then going to do is go over to the system you're attempting to sign into, click on the screen, and you'll have a technician sign in. Now this symbol here will be your company logo, and then all you have to do is type in your email, and you'll see that sends a ping to our QTech app, which we then open, scan our biometrics, and then same thing from here, you'll be able to either create an account or reactivate an account. So once again, you have to enter a reason, choose how long you wanted it active for, and then we do have MFA on here, so it'll be a 2-digit random code that once you enter on your phone, will then sign you in. And there you go, you can see we're now signed in. From the phone app, you then also have the ability to disable the account. You can also increase the time just like you can from the Chrome extension. or delete the account as well. And that is how you use just in time for local and AD through our passwordless functionality.